Welcome back to Rachelsey at the movies. Why can't I do it on camera?
Hey, this is
call
Rachelsey
to
at
you
the movies.
from the ether.
And today we're coming to you to review another series that we watch because we love it so much.
Yeah.
So we just watched the first two seasons, the only seasons right now. They are making a third one of What We Do in the Shadows. So the setup for this is basically you got some vampires who live in the present time, and it kind of like how they unfold with daily life in America, right? Like, and how that might look for them. How, like, it's a really funny, interesting, setup to take, like, you have, like, the super dramatic, Brad Pitt type vampire thing, right? Wasn't he in Interview with a Vampire?
Yeah.
I think so. And the movie Dracula, the book Dracula, Bram Stoker's, where we get, like, a lot of our vampire lore. But then to take it and put it in a much lighter, like, kind of setup. You're in present-day America, and...
Well, it's kind of like The Office meets vampires, because it's exactly like that. It's like it's a faux documentary. Now, this TV show is based on a movie.
Done in the same way.
Yeah, that's like from New Zealand, and it was done in the same way. It's a very popular cult classic movie, and if you look up the reviews for that movie, it's like 90-something. Yeah. Very high. This TV show is based on that. It's been on FX for 2 years. I love it, Rachel. Go, wait, or skip. I'm going to say go. Go see this right now and watch it, because I was attracted to this for a year or two now, but I never really watched it. And then I started watching it, and I was like, I cannot believe I did not start watching this as soon as it was on, because it is one of the funniest shows I've ever seen, and I love it.
Yeah, I'm also going to say go. I saw the, I don't know what you call it, previews, trailers, whatever, for this TV show, and I remember being like, that looks interesting.
Yeah.
Is it good, though? That's the thing I have with series. I'm like, do I want to try this? Because how many series have we tried to watch or even been recommended to us, and we're just like, oh, this is awful. Or it's boring, or whatever it is. And there's something about, well, do I really want to take, 30, 60 minutes of my time and try this out? This is not disappointing. I'm ready. Right out of the gate.
We are ready for a committed relationship with a TV show. We want to go the whole distance.
Yeah. So I'm not wasting my time here, and you will not be wasting your time. It is really funny. I can't even get over how funny it is.
Let's get into the thing. While it's based on the movie, it doesn't have the same characters that were in the movie. So it's it's in that universe, basically, and it's the same idea carried out. Now, I actually prefer the TV show over the movie, and I don't think that that's common, but...
Yeah, I will say, to give you an example of that, if you watch The Office, if you prefer the American Office over the British Office, then maybe you'll prefer this TV series over the movie. The movie was based out of New Zealand. Both the guys who created this are from New Zealand.
Yeah, and they're both really popular.
But it transfers over to... I don't know, there's something about making an American TV show.
Made in our culture, for our culture. Yeah. And so I'm in our culture, so it's easier for me.
So it's easier to make all the connections and everything. Yeah. So the creators are Jermaine Clement, which I think I said his name right.
He's from Flight of the Conchords.
If you know that, he's done lots and lots of stuff. But yeah, from that. And then I can't say this guy's name, but he's the director of
Thor Ragnarok.
Yep. Taiki Waki something. I'll put his name on the screen right here. We love him. He's funny, right? He was in Thor Ragnarok. He was the rock guy made out of rocks.
It's me. I'm actually a Bing. Yeah, he was great in that too.
And he has this really great timing, comedic timing, and dryness. It's really great. Anyway, this show, the vampires.
Well, they make cameos. Maybe once a season in it.
Yeah.
They're not really in it. But I will tell you that there's basically four main vampires in this series, and then a familiar, which is their human person.
Assistant. It's like their secretary.
I mean, they really knocked it out of the park on the casting, on the comedy. I mean, I just cannot get over, because that's a hard thing to do, to get all four of these vampires where you're kind of you know, because they're vampires, they're hard to identify with. But then in the same way, you do kind of love them. And they're kind of lovable, but also kind of ridiculous, the way Michael Scott is ridiculous in The Office. Where you're
That's
like, what?
That's the tricky thing, where you have to make somebody, like, where you're making them lovable, even though they have, like, these other things which are adding to the comedy. Like, so with Michael Scott, it was, like, the awkwardness that just made you cringe, but at the same time, they made him lovable. With this, we have the vampires. Now, guys, in reality, vampires are awful. Like, they just kill human beings to survive. And in the show, that happens, right? And it kind of makes me, like, a little bit uncomfortable, where I'm like, well, they just walked down the street and then they got hungry and just, like, whatever. But I was telling Kelsey what helps is that their familiar, the assistant guy, he kind of is like, he's a human, right? And he kind of wants to be a vampire. But in the show, he also struggles. He's like, oh, yeah, like, this is kind of bad. So it allows you to be okay with it. Like, they did a great job just bringing you in. The 4 vampires, 2 of them are, like, married. But, like, it's just the extreme things of, like, a vampire. So, like, their sexual appetite, which is common in other vampire lore and whatnot. But in the show, they've made it...
It's presented in, like, a funny way.
Really funny. 2 vampires married, and their interplay with each other is really hilarious. And then you have Nandor.
I mean, yeah.
Who's like the oldest vampire, like, in their little group. And how, like, he used to be, like, a leader of a thing that, like, he just pillaged, like, villages and killed everybody and set fire to them. So, like, he comes from a completely different culture, but, like,
I mean, I cannot put it into words. And what's this show is so good that...
But then they introduced an energy vampire.
Right, who is from The Office, who's Nate from The Office.
He was a side character on The Office, but so what he does is he's like a regular person, but he gets, like, sucks people's energy, so he works at an office.
By, like, being boring and frustrating them?
Yeah, so he just goes and has, like, these really long conversations, and a person standing there.
I mean, when he appeared, I mean, pretty much, like, in the first or second episode, because I was watching it by myself, I was like, maybe I should tell Rachel. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, I was like, this is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But you never really know, right? But then, like, the episodes kept getting better, which is not common either.
Yeah.
So by the 3rd one, like, she could hear me just laughing in the other room and wanted to watch it eventually.
So then I tried on my own, and then it's hilarious. And
well, let me tell you, they kept getting better throughout, like, even in season 2, you're just like, I cannot believe it's such a good show.
Yeah. And then the guy that plays their familiar also casts very well. So, like, you have, like, this kind of set of 5, which is your, like, little, you know, main group of people. They did a great job when they bring in other people.
Yeah, even, like, the one that they...
Well, they had a visit from the Baron, like, which was their, like, head vampire. That whole thing was...
I forgot about that.
Hilarious, guys. Like, so funny.
When he ate pizza.
Yes. Like,
totally worth it. But because it's relatable.
He's even more ancient than, like, all of them. And so to take somebody from another culture and just put them, like, right here in present day.
It's amazing.
It's so funny.
Why don't you just watch it?
Yeah. We, as you can tell, we highly recommend it. It's really, really funny. Please watch it. Why don't you want to watch funny things? Just watch it.
Just watch it.
Keep it on the air.
But...